Game idea. All right. We're going to start with introductions, and then I'll kind of explain the format and how this whole thing started, and then we'll get to the funny.
Hey, I'm going to get a little closer to the mic. I'm Chris Stroud. You may know me from Blamamations with Chris and Scott on PATV. And I do 2 webcomics, Star Slip and Chainsaw Suit. And that's why I'm an expert. Expert in game ideas, just across the field of entertainment.
Go ahead.
There you go. I am Lord Fry. I am the single-player campaign lead for Gears of War 3, and I've been testing games for about 1 million years, and so that's kind of why I'm here. And come down and see Gears 3. It's awesome.
You did not pay the promotional fee.
Damn it! Sorry. Rewind.
All right. My name is Jeff. I'm with Penny Arcade. I've been in the industry since 94. 17. Oh my God, I'm old. 17 years I've been in the video game industry. Many of those years were with Nintendo. And I'm going to tell you a little story about how this panel started. I would be at E3 for Nintendo listening to people try to sell us their game, pitch their game so that Nintendo would publish. And I took Mike and Jerry, I knew them prior. I would take them out to dinner, and as we consume various beverages, they would pitch me game ideas and I would shoot them down. And they really liked the concept of being able to just kind of talk to someone in the industry and rattle off all those ideas you've had floating around in the back of your head. And they turned it into a panel at the very first PAX. So this has been a panel, a staple at PAX since the very first one. So just a few words of warning. If you have a real idea that is very close to your heart, do not announce it to a full room of people.
Do not. I'm serious.
Also, if you really truly believe in this idea, I'm going to shit all over it. And I might make you cry. So I don't want to make you cry. Now, with that being said, it is entirely possible that you may have a great idea that we just don't get. To be honest, if someone last year had pitched, I shoot birds out of a slingshot and destroy green pigs, they would have got to the second round. So that tells you what I know.
It's too broad. What audience are you hitting? What demographic is that?
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's
terrible.
Tweak my marketing. So the way the format's going to work is we've got the 2 floor mics. You're going to stand up and give us your elevator pitch. We're going to do this for the first half. This is your 30 seconds to give us your basic gameplay concepts and your title. We will say yes or no, second round or not. Once you get your answer, go ahead and sit down. At the half-hour mark, we'll call everyone who made it back up to the second round, back up to the mics to maybe ask a few more questions, see if it's more than just a one-liner. Even if it is only a one-liner, it is entirely possible you still may place. We will give prizes to the top 3. We've got wonderful limited edition badges for PAX, along with a coupon for a dollar amount off at the pennyarcademerch.com. So if you want to get yourself a free t-shirt or something like that, go ahead and win. All right, we are ready to start. Who has a game idea? Come up to the mics.
All right. Now, you guys should know this. When we get to that hour mark, we have to go just say pitches. We're going to have you sit down. You should have been faster getting up to the mics.
Obviously.
All right.
Where do you want to start? On the right?
French fries.
All right.
French fries it is. Excellent. The name of the game is Meat Locker, Hospital Interns. See how it feels. You are one of 4 hospital interns struggling for a single residency position during these tough economic times. You have a steady stream of victims coming into the ER that you must treat. However, you must be able to save more lives than your rivals.
It's Diner Dash Downer.
Yes, you do have to actually treat them. However, the hospital doesn't care how many people really saved or lost. It's a question of relativity. Thus, if you are not saving that many people, that's okay. You can sabotage your rivals. Go through, pre-order that trip to the good old radiology lab, so it's 1,000 x-rays to the coin in order to make certain that that patient...
Very limited niche market.
Yeah, I don't know. The cruelty market.
you have the thrill of saving the glorious rocket that comes in.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
I think we kind of get it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I actually think I went to that boss. Alright, so my game is called Revenge. And we've all been in that situation, you're driving down the highway, and all of a sudden, you know, you're driving past an on-ramp, and some, I don't know, let's just say Prius driving mom with the coexist bumper sticker baby on back, and talking on the cell phone, and at the same time cuts you off. And you wish you jacked up on this person. And so, with Revenge, using the bumper sticker is not working. It doesn't work. So you got a dashboard mounted camera, videos your drive home. You get home, you just plug in your computer and just blow the hell out of them all.
So how would you market a revenge simulator?
Anyone who has to drive the highways in this area, the marketing's done for me.
No, because I have to buy a peripheral.
Alright, this is it's a dungeon crawler, but we're going to use the mouse this time for everything. So you're an apprentice mage who uses runes to cast spells. Now, when you choose your spells, you have to draw upon them using the mouse. So if you do it quickly and accurately, you do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, then be attacked by throwing projectiles at you. That sucks, but you can click on them. That's great. Now, with your stats, affect your margin of error. You know, maybe you can draw a little slower and it'll still count, or you have, or those projectiles that the enemy throws slows down so you can click on them. Now, to make fun of all of the many games out there, I'm going to call it Dragon now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the hook.
Well, it's
just
no, I have nothing to say.
Go ahead.
Swing and miss. Sorry.
No.
Ejected.
Sorry. Very mean.
My game would be called Survival Guide. It would be bringing, instead of survival horror, it would be the horror of you trying to survive. So basically, you have, in a zombie situation, there's several different ones. You're a person, you're in a place, and then you have to get out. And if that may be pushing people downstairs in order to get there, so be it.
It's a survival game in which
you get points for
it.
killing other people by accident.
You can. It's a unique take on the genre.
That's true.
That is it. That's my pick.
Okay, all right. Next round.
Okay, so you play a government agent with no powers, just a regular guy, and your mission is to help this superhero that has godlike powers, but he's a complete moron. So you
American hero, except
Yeah,
from the agent's point of
We
view.
can't get the licensing. It's going to be very difficult.
No, so why? Why not?
I can't answer that question at this time. I'm sorry, continue.
So is it an adventure game? Is it a simulator?
It's an RPG. First you start with no powers, but then the government realizes he's too dangerous and they give you more powers. It's also it's a comedy too. Like it's like Mass Effect, like how you choose different paths, but instead of choosing good or evil, you choose how what's funny.
I like the different point of view. And who's the actor who played the agent in Greatest American Hero? Does anyone remember the agent? He was
Look
like
at these young faces.
Thank you. I knew it was Robert, but I wanted to say Stack, and I knew it wasn't Robert Stack. Robert Culp. So you're pitching Robert Culp the game, right?
No, I think you're helping the guy that's the idiot.
Yeah. No, Robert Culp wasn't the idiot. He was the agent. William Cat was.
But he was trying to get...
Okay, yeah.
It's a unique point of view. I don't know how exciting it is that the person you're trying to help is more
No,
powerful.
you're not helping them. You're just trying to stop
them from flying into the wall.
Yeah, like trying to kill innocent people by
You just
accident.
keep them in a box or something.
Just keep them in a box.
Yeah, then they can't hurt anybody.
Yeah, the government
Keep the superhero in jail in the game.
No.
No.
Can't keep him in jail
Sorry.
because he's a...
No. Thank you.
Hi, my game is called Starship. You play a samurai astronaut get to the end of the galaxy where your girlfriend, who's been cursed by the hair gods, is covered in hair. You have to shave the girl, shave the universe.
Essentially, you can imagine who would a battle between, a cheetah and 7 squirrels. Well, in this game, you can find that out. You have 6 different continents, different and all the different animals have different powers or different, abilities. Elephants will be the strongest animals.
Totally want to Zerg cheetahs with kids.
Oh yeah! What's the game called? Zoocraft. Oh yeah.
We'll work on that.
Meets the works of H.P. Lovecraft. You are a Lovecraftian monster. You start off as a human. Your job is to take out another Lovecraftian monster who's maybe 1,000 feet tall. The way you gain power is you kill anything. Trees, cockroaches, people, elephants, and they add to your collective. Now, when you're in your monster form, you're able to unveil every piece of these people that you absorb. You can go into person form and influence people and start a cult. So you can have your cult fight for you, or you can just go monster and destroy a city. And you'll start very small and eventually you'll get bigger and bigger.
Unleashing the power of trees.
Well, I was with you on the...
Cult of Trees!
Oh, yeah. If you change the name to Cult of Trees, we might consider it.
Alright, Cult of Trees.
Oh.
No.
Greetings, wise panelists. My game is called
Go ahead.
Acts of Kindness. It's a social-based philanthropy game where players come together.
You play it every day?
To volunteer their time, and they can get points and then make donations to get multipliers. And through that, they can donate to various nonprofits.
Woo! Sharon! This is supposed to be funny. It's not supposed to accomplish any good.
That's just...
If I make it to round 2, I really accomplish that.
Putting me in an awkward position. And he did that on purpose.
Here, hold on. I'm going to say no to charity.
Oh no! What? Okay. No, we'll defer to you. It's okay.
All right. Thank you. It was a valiant effort. I have to be kind of nice to him. He's my off tank.
My idea is a game that kind of follows in the footsteps of Brain Age, where it's fun, it's educational, and kind of enriches you in the daily life. And the name of my game is also a question I think we all ask each other every day. Am I wiping my ass correctly?
I think more people need to understand the right way to do it.
It's a very taboo subject,
And I feel like we just don't talk about it enough.
So, the question I have for you, so the question, wait, just a second.
Okay.
Is it possible that you're the only one that's asking that question?
Also,
I see the doubt in your eyes. I know you ask it too.
Is it a game or is it like a pamphlet at the doctor?
No. It's a motion-based game.
Similar to a Mass Effect, where you make daily choices.
Travel back in time and try not to change anything. So people try to interact with you, you should avoid them. If you sneeze, you gotta wave up all your germs. You don't leave anything passing and people sick.
I'm hearing a lot of syllables. You gotta speak up.
You gotta wipe all the fact that you were attracted.
Yeah, you can't change the future. They can't change the past at all. Like, can't do any interact with anyone.
Why go back there in the first place?
You can accidentally put popcorn in the microwave when it's super hot.
So wait a minute, so they sent you back in time, but you can't do anything.
I like these. I like a game where the
essentially it.
Yeah.
So what's the gameplay?
If people are trying to interact with you, you're trying to avoid it.
Just hide.
So you can go into the box like the other game.
Is this the same game?
Yeah. No.
All right, so yesterday I was listening to the Penny Arcade Q&A and realizing, people come to PAX are coming from all over the world, which is kind of a big deal to me because I live an hour away. So when I'm listening to these people, come from like Korea and Scotland and all this, it really started making me think about Oregon Trail. My game like Yogi Convention Trail. If a reboot of Oregon Trail, a newer version, sort of stealing the idea. Instead of all that tuberculosis, maybe some PAX box. Instead of hunting buffalo, trying to carry that meat back.
There are actually several attendees who do this in real life. It's called the super trip. And they go from one coast to the other, and I'm sure they've experienced their share of troubles and tribulations.
And they give to charities, too.
It's a valid...
Good people.
No. Sorry.
My game is called One Life. It's your standard high fantasy MMORPG, but the difference is in the leveling up and stat building. When you begin the game and make your character, you enter real information about you yourself, the player. Anything that could influence the standard 60 and the stats. So you enter your blood pressure, how fast you can learn to play.
You go to fight the first bracket and die of a heart attack.
So exactly, if you find yourself running too slow in the game, want to run faster, you don't kill imaginary giant rats with imaginary flails. You go outside, you hit the bricks, resubmit your score, how fast you go.
A note from your doctor? Like, how do you verify?
When we start out, it'll be like the Twin Galaxies, Nintendo Power things, and in pictures, videos, but once it really gets going, we have partnerships.
You're a 3-bit RPG.
I totally get it. I play in second round.
It sounds like there's going to be like a blood pressure cuff in your home.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a Bowflex that you have to sit in. Yeah, let's go second round.
Second round.
Hey guys, this is an emotional endurance game called Flame Wars. Essentially, you load your Facebook profile into this game, and it creates a bot that hates you and wants to argue with you. And you need to see how long you can last before hitting one of the 3 end of the game buttons, which is 1, use an ethnic slur. 2, talk to your buddies on 4chan and try to get some vengeance going. Or 3, quit the game, scream. Oh, or you would need a heart rate periphery that measures your heart rate, and if it's like 150, you're done. Because then then it just gets too real.
Because even if you win, you lose.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, my game is called Injustice System, and basically it's like an RPG, but you play a corrupt judge, and the goal of the game is to send as many innocent people to jail. And you basically get a message. You get more points for death row versus life.
From spanning death row.
What is that?
Every time. Jaywalker, death row.
Yeah, but you have to do things like bribe the cops to destroy evidence, like influence the jury. Yeah.
That's not be the judge.
I think it's worth a second round.
Hi, gentlemen. I'm a history teacher, and I work in a hospital. I've been thinking about ways to help my students learn, and I love video games, and I think that there's a huge untapped resource there of possibility for educational games. And I've been thinking of a couple to inspire the game I want to pitch to you, and it's Assassin's Creed 2, which made history fun again. and Civilization, Fable 3, Mass Effect. And my idea is called Industry. It's an open world, action RPG, American Industrial Revolution.
Fly out of here with all of this.
In case it's amazing.
What do you think?
I'm not sure what the gameplay would be. I mean, are you talking like a sim, like a Civ, where you're guiding, but just that specific time in history?
Almost. It's got a bigger budget. We've got great effects. It's a little bit like Fable 3. Stay with me. Stay with me.
I'm a huge staff, and I'm really talented.
I'll pitch the story. You start off as an immigrant, but you choose your European origins. We had huge influx back then. And so you can come from Ireland, or you can come from Germany. You can come from these areas. You can even, if we could make it a bigger game, come from China.
Okay, in the interest of time, we do your second round because we have more questions.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to get as many people in the next 10 minutes or so.
Thank you.
All right, so there's a recent announcement that games like Catherine or a relationship simulator are becoming popular enough to reach an American audience. I want to make my own relationship simulator called Get a Job. Where you are this fat guy who lives in his parents' basement, and you have to go out and do basic things like get a job is the end game. But you also have to get a girlfriend, listen to your mom yell.
Kind of counter though, like you're gonna just be playing the game, not doing those things.
Like you're going to your dad and saying, "I am."
Yeah. The gameplay revolves around you are given choices of dialogue when dealing with different characters, and all of the dialogue is wrong. It's all bad. But you have to choose the least bad one. Like you could start talking to someone about Doctor Who, which is your favorite show. You can start talking to someone about some nerdy crap.
Okay.
My idea is called India Rampage, and it's open sandbox mixed with a bit of first-person shooter, and you play a Canadian who's out for revenge, dead to his father, who's killed by a cat, who's boss of a mafia type thing. It's a little bit kind of approach. You get missions, and you can choose to go with good guys to try and get to the cat, or go with bad guys. The good guys are rodents, except for squirrels. Squirrels are worms. The bad guys are cats, and the neutral guys are dogs who are all policemen, and you can go one side of morality or the other, and the way you do that is by going to storm or kill the cops.
I don't even care what the case is. You guys want to hear it. What's your expression that you don't read? I do too.
Okay, let's do it.
Second round.
So basically, crime is done in the world, and you're a superhero, but you have to find a job. So the first, you can play as anyone you want, but I'm pitching, you are Hellboy, and you've always had an interest in healthcare. So your job, proctologist. Really? It's the platform is the Connect, so you have to do everything yourself.
How terrifying would that be to go get an exam from Elastic?
Awesome. You do the best job. You can get real small. You probably won't even notice he's there.
See, your first be problematic feels like Sandman or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like Operation the Game. Also, you know, you don't want to touch the wrong side.
I'm gonna say no.
Your first patient is Bruce now.
No. It's okay. Over here now.
All right.
Alright. My idea for the game, it's a thriller mystery type of game. You start off as a police officer chasing a killer. You chase after him leads you to a library. Books fall on top of you. Coma. Now, many games such as Metroid or Assassin's Creed start off after a first level. You lose your super missiles, your power bombs, your assassin's equipment. You lose your ability to read. Now, you have to catch this killer. But now, you've lost your badge, your gun, and your ability to read. There's only one man in America who can help you as your new partner.
private investigator / actor, LeVar Burton. The game is called Leading Rainbow.
Alright, the name of the game is called Get Lucky. The goal of every guy we know is to meet women, but none of us know how to do that. So it's really a training situation. You're put in different locations, such as a bar, a library, a gym, with different types of women. And you get to choose your outfit, your opening line, your approach, and then based on the programming of the game, you get to decide if it's successful or not, in which you're able to meet the woman and be able to get a date with her. And then each level, it's harder and harder challenges.
Yeah. This is the thing is then you're doing it in the game, but you're not really going out and doing it.
Yes, but once you're able to
except in the
master
game,
the
it
game,
works.
then you're able to master real life because you've learned the different approaches about how to meet women in different situations. All right, now you're in a library. Here's a 30-year-old woman with a tattoo that has a cross on it. What would be your opening line? What would be your approach?
Nice cross.
In your game ideas past, we've had things like zombies. And this one is learning things I would like to really do in real life, but don't have the balls to do so. No.
This game is called My Parents Are Proud of Me. You start, and my parents love me, and...
Okay,
All right,
so
what do you got?
It's cross-platform between like Facebook and then your iOS or Android device. And when you're on Facebook, you're a mob boss, and you do things like harvest your drug crops and get them processed, and like peruse your turf for protection money. And then on your Android or iOS, you can like collect different members of your mob, like Jimmy the Rat and like Johnny T, and put them together. And it's like a strategy RPG to like gain turf and fight other mobs, and like you have to bribe the cops. And I call it Pocket Mobsters.
Yeah, the crowd hates you now.
No.
Ejected. All right, go.
All right, so you have a collection of medium-length mini-games. There's no instructions and no time limit, but there's no win condition. But anytime the player feels like they've won, they can choose to go on to the next level. And it's called I Win.
I get the end on
It's kind of interesting. I don't know what the gameplay is, though.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
All different genres. Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Check it out, you just won the game.
So no,
Is there DLC?
Actually, it wouldn't really matter, I suppose.
You pay what you want.
This should be really low.
It's done. The game is made.
Okay, so everyone's seen Groundhog Day, right? So this is basically Groundhog Day in the game. Open world, there's people going around with their own agendas. If you get to midnight, the game resets. So basically you could just stand there and everything will happen around you. But the goal is to, actually I'm not sure what the goal is, but you know. There's yeah, that's exactly it. So there is a goal, but it's kind of a puzzle game, so you can affect people's, you know, if you interact with people, you affect where they're going and what they're doing. And,
How can we all just watch the movie together?
Yeah.
I'm just saying now. Thank you.
So I'm proposing a game that's half social media and half classic literature. Animal Farmville.
I love the fact, though, it's Orwellian on Facebook.
A lot of deep commentary.
All right, so I was watching a lot of James Bond, and I always think that it's weird that he always is successful in the mission. Like, the guards always don't shoot straight, and the door to needs are always unlocked, and there's always like a tank right when he gets outside. So in my game, you play as an unpaid MI6 double agent who goes around, unlocks doors, hides the Double O intern.
So the game is an action RPG where you experience the life of a swashbuckling hero, but instead of experiencing it as the hero, you experience it as their sympathetic nervous, or I'm sorry, the autonomic nervous system. And the game is called Autonomicon. And so the idea is that you're responsible for controlling the hero's heart rate, digestive functions, sexual arousal, fight response, when they need to rest. Need more blood! Exactly.
I don't know what that looks like.
So the idea is you're releasing like chemicals or hormones.
Am I just looking at like inside of a body? He's having adventures, but I don't get to see them.
Kind of. I mean, maybe you get to see through the eyes, so you see what you see through the eyes. So you see a pretty lady, you gotta
find
release
out
her.
you're not a swashbuckler, but some vet tech.
The heart's all sad.
No. Ejected. Over here.
Hi, I'd like to propose a game called Shimmering Horizon. So most SRPG games, such as Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem, focus on individual people on a two-dimensional battlefield. My proposal would be to take that type of gameplay and introduce primarily, instead of individual characters, you would be controlling airships. And you would be able to position the airships in 3 dimensions for both offense and defense. For instance, making sure that you can, for instance, the airships may have guns only at the top, so you can go underneath them.
You weren't listening when I said, don't pitch your real idea. You've been working on this for years, haven't you?
No, it's just an idea I had in my mind.
It's a great idea.
It's also an idea.
Okay, so it's 1978. And you're a detective police department, and you've been falsely accused of murder, and you've been put to death, and you have to decide whether, yeah, no, it sucks. You have to decide whether or not to go up and find evidence based on you're a ghost. And you either go up and find evidence and try and plant it, but you can still possess animals and whatever you want. Or you can go up and just exact revenge.
So what beat you to the idea, sir, which is amazing considering you just came up with it.
I was watching cartoons last week.
Okay, so it's a revenge game. It starts off, you wake up by a beach. You've just been shot in the back of the head by your best friend. You wake up, you're not killed, and now you have to fight your way back to the farm. The name of the game is Of Mice and Men 2, Lemmy's Wrath.
It ain't classic, my friend.
You beat.
What?
It's not classic.
Oh, the sequel is not classic.
Not yet.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
No. Yes, yes, what? Yes. Yes.
We defer to you because
Yeah,
we
we're
disagree.
deadlocked.
I'm going to say no.
No. Okay, we're gonna take 4 more for each line, and then we're cut it off. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to make you wait in line, but we got to get to the second round. So we can
Sorry, you're so slow.
lock them more.
Okay, so the idea is you're a caveman in a nursing home with fire and a vat of maple syrup.
Right, what's the gameplay like?
And it's a puzzle maze game. Basically, you are in the nursing home cafeteria, you wake up, you have your stick of fire, and as you realize you're surrounded by creepy old people, you throw your stick of fire, setting the nursing home ablaze. As the old people try
try to escape, you realize they are too crippled and slow to make it out by themselves, so you jump in a vat of maple syrup to help them escape.
Logically, yes. No.
Alright, so we've all played the
games where they have the sports stealth section or a ton of vehicle sections. This is that to the extreme. The situation in the storyline constantly changes to favor different genres. It's all the same basic control scheme, but say you lose your gun, it goes survival horror. You get a minigun, it goes Duke Nukem crazy, kill them all. You find a jet plane, you go around and kill people. That's why I said basic, like control scheme engine, just the situation is skewed to one genre or another.
Yeah, you've got a good hook, but I don't. Go ahead, Mark.
There's not enough meat there. Like I can see that.
We need more meat.
It sounds interesting. We need more meat.
Preferably pork. Sorry, that's
I know, right?
Good. The year is 20XX. The Russians have taken over and invaded the United States and destroyed all the chairs and couches. Unable to defend themselves because they're too tired and defenseless, we just give in. However, one man will take a stand and defend the United States of America, gifted with the ability to turn people into chairs with his punches. He will replenish the chair supply. However, he is cursed as he cannot sit himself, he can only stand. His name is Stan, standing, and he's the President of the United States of America.
It's a sub no.
I like the fact that this panel always turns into people's performance art rehearsal.
No! Ejected. Over here.
So the idea is you are this researcher on an underwater like research thing. And there's a horrible accident and the water's leaking and you have to get to the surface. But the accident gives you the power to control the water. So it's an iPad puzzle platformer thing where you control your hand. What? Your arm. Control water. Oh, not the animal phone. Sorry, go ahead. So yeah, it would be an iPad puzzle platformer type thing where you would drag your finger around to control your view and tilt the iPad and control the water. So if you need to like bridge a gap, you'd like tilt the water to move a floating box and then walk across.
Damn it, real ideas. We talked about this.
I don't
Wow.
I don't have the resources to make it, so
Okay, second round.
Second round. Go.
Alright, Ivory Foundation is a browser-based alternate reality game geared towards an audience of males aged 13 to 18. Players
They never get enough games that time around.
So players can use IA to take their real-world academic achievements within our institutions and then convert it into abilities and items which they can use to take out their stress and trash the towers of academia, and then they reconstruct them in their own image, and then the end goal of the game is to eventually reach a state where you annoy your academic overlords enough that they evict you and put you in a perpetual state of graduation. And in addition, officials can use the data from academic achievement to do whatever.
I turned to Chris like, oh, I need a one-liners. I got nothing.
No. Okay, so check it out. The game is called Fox Hunt, okay? You play, it's like a King of the Hill style game. One guy plays as a fox, a bunch of guys play as a bunch of dogs. You start in a barn that's like in the middle of a procedurally generated level, so it's different every time. The goal is the fox has to escape. There are tons of different routes, has to use cunning to figure out like, I can jump over this, but they can't jump over that. There's like a trap there, they can't see it, stuff like that. The dogs can see the fox's trail. Obviously, the fox gets a faster head start, but the dogs are slower, so they have to use, like, as a group, find the fox. The fox escapes by, like, swimming across a river, going across a highway.
I would just describe it.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. The person who wins, the person who catches the fox or gets the most points, plays as the fox in the next round. Awesome.
The working title for my game is Why Must I Be a Supervillain in Love? And
science gadget-based supervillain, not too different from Dr. Horrible. Only instead of being in love with Penny, he's in love with Captain Hammer. And, and also trying to be a fear villain and everything else. So the gameplay would be very sort of your typical sandbox game, but what I wanted to do was combine branching automatic trees and quick time events to do the Mancer mechanic.
It's definitely genre bending. That's. I'm afraid to say no.
I mean, it doesn't have to literally be Captain Hammer-like. It doesn't have to be cross-gender or same gender. But that, I would love to see that because I'm
I'm more likely to play the game where I'm supposed to fall in love with Nathan Fillion. That is the game I am much more likely to play.
So you're yes.
Yes.
We'll go yes. We'll go yes.
Okay, my idea is a little 800, 1200 point, sorry, a PlayStation Network for this one because it would be based on the God of War franchise. Whenever I play the game, he's not very good at killing things or jumping around. What he's really great at is destroying pottery and moving furniture. So the game would be, you have to rearrange Zeus's living room or Athena's bedroom, and you get bonus points for feng shui. Possible name might be Olympus Moving Company.
It's a browser game. They played on Lifetime's website.
Sorry. No.
This
game is
the last pitch.
This is the last pitch, and this game is awesome. It's a fighting game in the vein of Shaq Fu. The character roster includes Tom Cruise, Gary Busey, bald Britney Spears, Mel Gibson, Tiger Woods, Nick Nolte, Lindsay Lohan, and most importantly, Charlie Sheen. No! But every time he does a move, he says, Tiger Blood, up and up.
Let's fight. Alright.
Still mad. We have no more pitches. Are you in the second round?
No.
Oh, sorry. You didn't. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to catch up. All right. So everyone who got a yes, get back up to the mics. I'm glad it was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
We were waiting for that name. All right. So just remind us of your game. Let's go ahead and start on the left this time.
Left side.
Easily the shape.
So my big question is, you said facial hair of the planets.
Yes, all the planets will have different styles of facial hair, like the Fu Manchu or the wraparound.
But planets don't normally have faces.
And hair gods don't exist. Neither do samurai astronaut barbers.
Right, but that is a good point. But here's the thing, though, is that if the hair grows, it's going to grow back, so it never ends.
I'm sorry, do your samurai astronaut barbers not have magical razors?
You didn't say that. You didn't say that. I mean,
sorry, his razor.
To be fair,
his razor that he uses from his ancestors. The hair that it cuts never grows back.
Okay. So his ancestors didn't do a very good job.
That is a very astute point, sir.
Just saying.
Okay, I think we have enough.
I have enough information.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
All right.
So my game was Zoocraft.
Oh yes.
The whole thing almost makes sense. Do you have any questions, or should I go over like more stuff?
No. So I do have a question. How do you divide up the different animals? What are the trees? I want to know your tech tree.
Our tech tree is basically you pretty much divide them up based on how difficult they are to do research to read, and that would be correlated to how strong they are essentially. So that's basically your tech tree. You have 6 continents or 6 races. Then you have, I believe, the breeder of each race is pretty much a, kind of like what would be like character Steve Irwin, and one would be, different people from the different continents. And then you have, all the buildings. You have like aviary, monkey house. Basically a standard kind of Star Trek tech tree. And they would all be themed for the different continents.
How do you balance cows versus lions?
Well, lions are obviously much more powerful than cows, so cows are pretty much easier to breed.
You're providing more of them to kill as your defense.
That's the idea.
Cows might essentially building to scale to see. No, but cows might serve a purpose in the beginning of the game. And actually also, the two ideas I had for resources like water and crops, I mean, they could be pretty much anything else, but a lot of smaller animals might serve a purpose initially. Some animals might be able to sneak around and eat crops. Some animals can go through water. Some animals can have other animals on their back. Some can be decoys.
So ultimately, then I guess I'm misunderstanding. So the whole point of the game isn't to grow animals so that they fight one another.
No, that is. Well, it's to fight to destroy the other, breeders, essentially. It's
But not
an
animals
animal
themselves. Like, I'm not taking 50 squirrels against a dog.
Well, you gotta get past the dog to get to that house. I mean,
oh, okay, so you have to figure out that I need 50 squirrels to get the dog. Yeah, but I need to grow them and have the water in this Steve Irwin to grow.
Steve Irwin is just a figurehead, almost like generals, basically, where you had a general, and he's just a figurehead. But, yeah, I mean, you need to grow animals to, fight their animals.
We're good. Got it, thank you.
So mine was the survival guide where the objective was to throw people. I have another example with the, since you're randomly generated, you get a random person. So say you get some college co-ed, your objectives go, oh, I'm helpless, then shove them. And multiplayer would be every man for themselves.
What was the title?
Survival guide. Basically, multiplayer would be 4 people are trying to just gain the biggest score, kind of like Bulletstorm, by killing as many of the NPCs as they possibly can. And it's not over when you get bitten, because that's when you go into crazy mode and try to kill as many people as you can.
So it's not just a matter of being, like, inconsiderate. You're just being, like really, really inconsiderate.
So it's like
It's all about the high score.
Nobody's going to survive. It's just you want to be the last
No,
one.
because there's a way to get out. You just, how many people can you ruin life-wise to get to the
douchebag simulator?
But it's both
Okay.
genders.
I got enough. I'm good. That's a better title, too. So.
Mine was One Life, the fantasy MMO where you better yourself.
The Wii Fit RPG is like that.
Yeah.
You guys didn't like it? No.
So it's why you-
Yeah, but just my question. Well, yeah, how do you prevent cheating?
Well, it would be right for cheating, really, but in that case,
That is a concern.
How do you win? Anything that can be reasonably verified by a second party, like not so you have to bring a buddy. Are you sure? It's scale grocery stores that measure your blood pressure and everything.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
I was, am I whipping my ass right?
Are you okay?
I'm Danny today.
Why did we mess with
I'll give you more. It plays like a pretty light RPG. Every day you go through choices and
It's 1 pie instead of 2 pies.
you make specific diet choices, and the core mechanic of the game is always the same, and that's why it's a motion game. You're always wiping, and it's always going to correct you. You're always wiping. You're being corrected on your motion. It's going to give you tips to do better. But where the real meat and potatoes of the game are in, the choices. You know, a lot of games claim that they actually change the outcome. This is the first game where you're going to change the outcome.
It's like, I'm with you, but in the end, it seems like a shitty game.
It'll be praised for its single player, but where it's really innovative is in its multiplayer,
which has its own co-op online story mode where you were in a skiing accident, both your arms are broken, and your best friend has to wipe your ass for you. But it adds a whole new dynamic to the game, because now you have an eye level meter, and if you guys lock eyes for too long, the game
Teaching people to take the Wiimote into the bathroom.
but it's really accessible. It gathers the hardcore.
Sure it is.
Yeah, it
I'm
gathers
good.
the gathers.
Thank you. Thanks, we got enough.
I had Animal Farmville. So, all right. So, the Farmville mechanic is setting up this farm to satisfy sort of whatever interest you have. This adds the aspect of being killed by your pigs, which you have to consider when designing the level. Similarly, there are various goodies that you can buy in sort of micro-purchase style, like ammunition to prevent.
How do you figure out that the pigs are plotting against you?
It's really probably lends itself to an XCOM style sort of investigation kind of thing.
Like, do you go into the sky and find manifestos?
That's kind of reasonable. That's more or less what I do.
Okay, thank you.
Take a look. It's in a book. My name is Pretty Ring.
All that?
So LeVar Burton is helping you by teaching you to read, or is reading to you?
He's helping you get the joy back of
Well, really, you have to catch the killer. So it's a balance. You want to try to get your ability to read back, but you also want to stop him from killing people. And to make matters worse, the killer, his gimmick, because every killer needs a gimmick these days, he is recreating books for each crime. So it starts off slow.
But how do you know that he's making books after each crime?
Well, that's why LeVar comes to help him.
Like, the first crime.
He could be super good. Working out.
The first crime is he finds green eggs and ham next to a dead body.
This is like the killer's trying to help you read.
It's a very educational game.
LeVar is the killer. I'm sorry, I know it.
My game was Injustice System.
Corrupt judge.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about a way to have levels where you would start out at the district level, you sort of have small cases, and you rise all the way up to the appellate, and then to the Supreme.
So really, again, you're tricking everyone into thinking that you're a good judge, but you're actually a horrible judge.
Yeah, basically how it actually works.
So do you have like other people like that help you do this, or is it just you?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, people thinking certain juries.
I want to ask him for his criminal record.
No, spotless.
Okay, thank you.
I was a 00 intern.
How do you make that exciting?
So here's what it is. Each level is 2 parts. The first part you play as the intern who goes around and has to convince guards like to go home early, or has to hide machine guns, or like park getaway cars.
You go ahead.
And then the second part you play as the bad secret agent who runs pretty slow and his guns aren't very accurate, so if you didn't set up the level correctly, you can't complete it.
Right, guys, I was a supervillain in love. Now I'm a supervillain with gaming billionaire.
No, I changed my mind. I don't want to use this. So, I guess what is the core gameplay mechanic?
What's your standard 3D open world sandbox game, not unlike a lot of the Spider-Man games, but the reason I came up with the idea in the first place was I was so tired of games like Prototype where all you do is murder people. I was like, I want to do more interesting stuff than that. Can't we throw something a little bit more exciting in? So a game like this, it actually makes sense what you'd be able to do.
But what is your mission structure like? I gotta go pick up a box of candy?
Well, no, I mean, that's not how you impress a superhero. You have to choose. I mean, do you want to go do heroic acts to try and get on their good side? Or do you want to go stage the biggest, hugest crimes ever just to see them again and get to, answer them?
I'm sorry I stole the diamond, but I just really had to see you again.
It's not as if superheroes have listed phone numbers. How are you going to get hold of them?
Like super nice or like a stalker. You know?
Well, the end game I wanted to be really interesting because I wanted it to be that the way that you. Okay, that's fine.
We're okay. Thank you. We're okay.
Underwater research station.
So you control the water, you work water yourself.
Correct.
Okay. And what tools are you using to manipulate?
Your amazing powers that you got granted in the horrific accident.
Which is like Bioshock? Yeah. I'm thinking of more than the dots between water spots. I'm trying to figure out where the depth of gameplay is.
Like you would tap around or use your finger to control your dude, and then tilt it to control the water.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have to like invert it.
What happens if you do? If I'm controlling the water, why am I controlling the avatar being well?
Because like say you need to get to a door, but there's like a giant gap in the middle.
Okay, so I have to navigate him
Yes.
through an obstacle and fix the problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just also say that you said no real ideas, but I don't have the skills, resources, or time to develop it. So if anyone wants to make it, please steal it, because I would really like to play it.
Fox Hunt. Fox Hunt. It's yeah, so it's like a third-person kind of perspective. You're going around, you're playing as either a fox or a dog. You have to work as a team. The fox can like go up to like a stream. The dogs will see that this rail will end at the stream. So obviously, they went either left or right. You break it with multiplayer, yeah.
It's oddball without a team.
Well, it is a team. The dogs are. The fox, however, is on
Fox is solo.
Right. Fox is solo. It's a King of the Hill style gameplay where whoever won the last match gets to.
So does the fox actually eventually get to like a den and then it's safe, or is it a matter of time?
It could be. Well, it's a matter of distance. The barn is generally like around the middle of the level. You can cross a highway, which would present its own hazards, and like you can cross it and stuff like that. Also, the when you're playing as the dogs, like let's say,
We got it.
Industrial Revolution, the game.
Yes. Video games for kids.
Throw that on and make us get the other
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you teaching them?
I'm teaching them about progressive era. So you play an immigrant, and you start off low, and the whole point is you can start to try to grow up the social classes if you wish.
What are you accomplishing to grow? What is your level of job that you need to do?
Well, you do different jobs. You do various jobs. You try to look for leads in different places. It's a little bit, I would say, like Fable 3. No, you can actually do jobs.
What age are you using?
Well, it depends on the amount of violence. It depends on the violence. So you can keep the violence down and be able to connect with the broader group of kids.
Just avoid tuberculosis.
Yeah, absolutely. You teach them about that. Sure.
Okay.
The Canadian here?
It's a lovely shade of red too.
I am actually listening.
Okay, so to make sure I got it, we've got the cats, we've got the squirrels, we've got the dogs. Dogs are policemen, squirrels are.
Are they just general big guys?
Okay, cats are big guys.
No, cats are gangsters. And squirrels are rats.
What is the game look like?
It's mostly sandbox, like Grand Theft Auto, where you missions and you can choose to do bigger, better missions, but you're still trying to get closer to the cap and your father. And
All right,
so
you were saying. Okay, so sandbox.
Sandbox, cats, dogs, squirrels.
It has first-person shooter levels. There's no real gameplay reason for that. It's just
Okay, all right, we're going to confirm. We're going to confirm. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right. Okay. We have come to a decision. Okay. All right.
So,
Number 3.
Well, hold on, just really quick. Everyone at once say which one you think wins. Go. I think.
All right. Part of this was just because she was such a good sport. Squirrel, dog, cat. Sandbox wins 3rd place.
There's also his phone number. It's actually no prize at all. It's just phone number. 2nd place was the Underwater Research Leak, the iPad game.
I actually really want to play this game. Here, go buy Unity, start programming.
All right, and the number 1 is Double Intern.
A lot of the ones you said no to. You guys were great and entertaining. Thank you very much. Have a good time for the rest of the PAX.